Greetings everyone, greetings, greetings, greetings. Hope you're enjoying your day wherever you are. Just a short video to kind of put out something that's been in the process in my brain. Sometimes I observe things, I make observation of things that are occurring, events, people, and I keep an eye on them to see where they're going. It's just like watching the weather, you know. And if you see right now in the video, today, look at this guy. You cannot even see the mountain. No blue in the sky. And that's the way. Look at the trees. Leaves not fluttering. In the neighborhood, I don't hear any dogs barking, roosters. I see birds, but not many, as we say, singing. So it's a different in the day. Just like there's a difference in the atmosphere, what's going on the planet, or what's being done. Because people are not, things are not happening by accident with people. But most people don't look at things going on around them. They grow up in an atmosphere where they expect somebody else to save them. The former slave, it was a long, blonde hair, blue-eyed, what would I call it now? I don't know, kind of pink-colored person that they saw as pure white. Even today, they have that belief. And most of the world have a belief that they're going to be saved by somebody else who is going to come and fix the problems that they create now. You and your neighbor have a war with each other, and then somebody's gonna come and make peace between the two of you. Not the two of you sit down and make peace with each other. That's the situation. And Africa has this bank that's set up by the Europeans, and there's this black African in charge of it. And he made a speech before a place called Chatham House. I don't know if you know about Chatham House. Go check it out. History is long at Chatham House. And some of the things that it has brought about in the world will surprise you. While you are looking at this conflict between Russia and America, because America tell you we're good and they are bad. Between the EU and Gaddafi. Gaddafi's evil and we're good. We just But when you got a man who comes into your neighborhood and controls what you do, say, think, and you don't even bother to recognize it, you can't even recognize it. That's the position of Chatham House. They raised up people like the man in this video I'm going to show you. I hope you go look at the whole video. And there's some things that in your hand. There's this piece of equipment people carry around every day that all they try to do with it is entertain themselves. Wherein the knowledge that they can gain from it can be not only entertainment, because they'll see the foolishness that goes on. Sometimes you laugh. You have to. And then they'll think that you don't know what's going on. And he said, look at this fool. He thinks that I don't know what's going on. But people use that piece of equipment for just entertainment, making a call. And it's, I mean, you have the world at your fingertips. And don't use it. But anyway, take a look at the video. I just played a couple of clips of it. Take a look at the video. And you decide what is. The other thing is, a lot of us come to Africa and we go find that niche, that place between the African, the poor African in Africa, and the rich African in Africa. And that rich African, his place is right between the Caucasian and the poor African. We come and slide in between the poor African. And there's a fire burning in that space. The problem is we don't see it. The African ignores it because he thinks that he can go to Europe anytime something starts. He ignores it. We as diasporans, as they call us, blind to it because we don't want to see Africa as it is. Happy inside your gate, your compound with the big walls around it. You have some money and you feel safe because of that. But look at what Janet Yellen did the other day. She took Russians' money. And the reason she gave for taking it is that the money doesn't belong to Russia, since it was the interest on Russia's money that the institution that was in made off that money. So the money, the interest is not Russian money, therefore it's not theft. Do you understand what that means for the rest of the world? Who thinks that your money as a bank is safe? Your money invested in US bonds is safe. Your money is invested in the stock market is safe. You see that institution that she's talking about? You know what the word institution means? Any entity that have control over your money, the government can come in and say, we want that money. And this is a precedent. They have now set a precedent. That's what's going on in the world. And Africans are not paying attention to these things. So that fire, when it blows up like it has just blown up in Kenya, when it blows up, like when it's blowing up in Nigeria, Ghana, it might seem like it's all well in Ghana because you're not hearing things, you're not looking for it. How is it that I hear and you don't? But anyway, listen to these 2 clips, and I encourage you to look at the news about Africa. Do not, when you wake up in the morning, or you take your rest, get some coffee. When you look at the news, forget about the rest of the person. Since you're coming to Africa, learn about Africa. You're coming to Africa. You're getting information about your friends, about the cost of living up. That cost of living is skyrocketing because of what's happening in the rest of the world. And you're not paying attention to it. You think that when you run from America to Africa, you're going to avoid that. Nope. They are here before you. And they have plans that was put in place before you get into Africa that it's now getting going. That fire is started and you don't see it. Alright, enjoy the video, go watch it yourself. Go to this channel where you're seeing, I put the channel name on the video so you can go look at it. Alright, wherever you are, peace.
When RJ was running for president of the bank, he came to see me and said, look, you're the first person I came to see in the world. I left Washington as soon as I was elected, and I came straight to see you. And he asked me, what do you have in mind? I said, look, only 3 things. I'm not going to ask you for more than 3 things. First, you work together with us to make sure Africa has 100% electricity. Second, you work with us to make sure Africa feeds itself and unlocks its agricultural potential. Because that's going to give us really equitable economic growth with millions of people out of poverty. Work with us to make sure that our young people have skills, entrepreneurship, also jobs that we need to thrive on our continent. Now, Senator called Victoria Island. I wanted to feel that to be a moral compass for me as I started my side. I went over there, and of course, for those of you that probably have gone to Glory Island, you go right through it, and there's a door that they say is a door of no return. And I stood there, and I had a lot of things, memories, and all kind of things. That was pretty emotional time for me. And as I stood there, I saw in my vision that this is why the best and the brightest and the strongest of Africa were. They were taken out and put in on boats on the Mediterranean, and they were shipped outside of Africa. Went back into my car with all of the emotion running right through me and my thoughts and so on. And I sat down and I said, well, look, today, then they did it against their own volition. Today, on their own volition, several of Africa's youth are taking the same kind of boats. They're just not locked up this way, but people sitting at the bottom of boats trying to flee the country. So I knew that a big agenda for us has to be how to tap and unleash the potential of our youth. It's all about pride. I was with Prime Minister Meloni of Italy at the Italy-Africa Summit, and she's good, she did a great job, and we had a great conversation. And I said, well, look, the issue of dealing with Africa's youth migration, the future of Africa's youth is not in London. It's not in America. It's not in Asia. It's not in Latin America. It's not in any part of the world. It is in Africa, growing well, with quality growth, paying attention to inequality, and paying attention to turn its demographic asset into an economic dividend. The young people of Africa are the best assets we have, but we have to put our money to back them up, to take on the world, and they can't do that. envisioning Africa's economic prospects. Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Times recently had as its headlines, "The future is African." I agree, of course, with the New York Times. Africa can no longer be ignored. I fully expect Africa to be the pivotal continent in the world, given its economic prospects. First, Africa's population is projected to reach 2.5 billion by 2050. And by then, 1 in every 4 persons on Earth will be African. The rising middle class and projected consumer and, of course, business expenditures projected to reach over $7 trillion. This is a formidable market of the future you cannot ignore. Second, with a burgeoning youth population of almost 1 billion people under the age of 35, Africa will boom with talented skills and form the workforce of the world. Third, with 65% of the uncultivated arable land left to feed 9.5 billion people in the world, it's not in Asia, it's not Latin America.
Pay particular attention to what he says
it's not in China,
at
it's in Africa.
time marker
So Africa
7:10.
is going to absolutely determine the
7:10 time marker.
Fourth, the future of energy transition for a world powered largely with renewable energy will actually depend on Africa, because Africa has the largest solar potential in the world, which of course will be critical for developing green hydrogen and green ammonia that will power economies of the world towards net zero emissions. Africa also has the largest deposits of green metals, minerals, from platinum to copper, nickel, manganese, chromium, graphite, and lithium, which of course are all critical for manufacturing of solar panels, battery energy storage systems, and electric vehicles. And the value of those electric vehicles by 2025 will be $7 trillion. By 2050, it will be worth $57 trillion. Fifth, the African Continental Free Trade Area, of course, brings together all 54 African countries with an estimated GDP of $3.4 trillion, is on its way to becoming, actually, the largest free trade zone in the world in terms of number of participating countries. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, economic trends, growth and development of Africa are central as we look to a world where the continent will play a very significant role. Ladies and gentlemen, despite challenges